Chris Kolb, Kolb Custom Land Services. Just want to show you a project here in Eastham. This is for some folks that moved here from New York and probably eventually want to retire here. They got a place in Western Mass that's near their grandchildren as well. But they needed a lot of work done. I phased it out over a period of a few years and planned it that way with estimates and such, just to make it softer on the wallet. Landscape is not inexpensive. It's very labor intensive, no matter how you cut it and who you work with. So that's why I try to phase things out. Cost phase plan is what I call it for folks. And so here you go. Here's the upper terrace. This wall we put in, retaining wall, because the sand from the upper area was eroding down and over the shingles that you'll see in a moment. And it was also eroding over this existing rise in the tread above the step, which was no good. So this was all graded out with a gentle slope away from the house. All right. You can see how some of the shingles got rotted from the sand that was growing. The sand that was above this shingle here, that had eroded down from here. It's very much like a kind of a dune-like soil here. So anyways, a lot of regrading had to be done, many cubic yards. It was all repurposed on site, which saves money, and created some interesting contours to the land. We put in this dry, natural fieldstone wall, all dry stack, as well as the inlaid steppers. I'm walking gingerly here on the new alt turf, and it goes up to their gazebo where the customer works remotely. And then you'll see some clover in here that's coming in really nicely. This is red clover, which is more shade tolerant. And then micro clover in the more sunny areas is coming in as well. It's a couple thin patches, but those will fill in. And I have extra seed, because this does happen, where areas just don't, perform as well at first, and so they have to be reseeded. But I've got some tripods set up. This is going to be a xeriscape lawn, and it was a blend, a couple different stover seed blends, California mixes actually, which are broad-ranging North American species and cultivars that can handle a wide range of conditions. The Cape is tough. It's becoming more and more dry, hot, and there's atmospheric humidity because of the surrounding water bodies. So, it's almost like a coastal California kind of environment. So I'm using alternative methods for successful lawns that don't require 5 to 7 step programs with fungicides and herbicides and too much fertilizer, which gets into our aquifers and watersheds and and kettle ponds, which is just no good. So at any rate, here's the wall. Came out real nice, and there's some feature stones in here that just kind of give some design and sense of design, and there's also, I put in a couple creeping junipers. These will grow as they do in some of the old cemeteries in on the Cape, that basically they become a steppable alternative turf that's wicked drought tolerant, no irrigation, which is what xeriscape means. And that's what this will be, is a xeriscape lawn, so that they don't have to have an irrigation system. Irrigation systems are tough. on the Cape. They can actually cause some diseases in turf, but they can also, it's just tough on our aquifers, our limited aquifers on the Cape. So I try to encourage folks whenever possible to go with xeriscape. And here's these steps that go around to the various sort of spaces of the backyard here. Concentric circles of native fieldstone, flat fieldstone that surround some repurposed bluestone that the folks had on the property. So we reused it, made a 9-foot radius, perfect circle. The concentric rings of fieldstone will also provide space for the patio. So the chairs are just here temporarily and off of the area where the lawn is, seating in between the joints of these fieldstones, as well as some woolly thyme. This is woolly thyme. Woolly thyme is a great steppable that's aromatic when you step on it. So it's great around terraces and such. And then, again, walking gingerly, this is the fourth, well, really the fifth phase, because there were some maintenance aspects, but this is the fifth phase. I'm putting in another retainer because this was also eroding down in here and actually eroding down into this area here where they have their grill, and then sort of into this area. So it was no good. It needs a retaining wall. So I've got the base stones in. We had some extra stones from this steppers project, so utilizing those and keeping costs down. Put in some steps to go up to this upper terrace, and I had to avoid the septic system. I was very careful with that. Met with the septic company, Robert B. Auer, and found out where the portal is for pumping, and the septic inspection port is, as well as exactly where this septic system is. So there's my transit in the distance there that I used to get elevations. I transplanted some of these yuccas and a few other plants that are on site. Some of these hostas, I grouped them together into drifts, which always looks nice to have things in drifts. So there you have it. That's the project thus far. Thanks for watching. Chris Kolb, Kolb Custom Land Services.